When self-made millionaire Ethan Ward walked into that glittering ballet premiere, he had no idea his entire world was about to shatter. Because there, on that stage, was a 7-year-old girl who looked exactly like him, dancing her heart out while his ex-girlfriend applauded from the audience. 7 years ago he'd left Amara with nothing but a cowardly note, convinced he was protecting her from his failures. But now, staring at the daughter he never knew existed, Ethan realized he'd been running from the only thing that ever mattered. The question is, can a man who abandoned everything earn back what he destroyed? Or will his return tear apart the fragile piece Amara built without him? And when the media exposes their secret, turning their private pain into public scandal, will Ethan finally prove he's not the coward he once was? Or will history repeat itself in the cruelest way possible? Subscribe and comment below if you believe in second chances, because this story will make you question everything you thought you knew about love, redemption, and what it truly means to stay. The champagne glasses sparkled under the crystal chandeliers. Ethan Ward stood near the back of the grand hall, his black suit pressed to perfection, his tie straight. Everything about him looked right, but inside he felt hollow. He checked his phone for the 3rd time in 5 minutes. Work emails. Always work emails. "Mr. Ward, thank you for coming." A woman in a silver dress approached him. Her name was Mrs. Harper, the patron who'd invited him tonight. "The performance is about to begin." Ethan forced a smile. Wouldn't miss it. That was a lie. He'd almost cancelled twice. Ballet premieres weren't his thing. Business meetings, investment deals, building his empire. That was his life now. Had been for 7 years. The lights dimmed. People settled into their velvet seats. Ethan found his spot in the 5th row, right side. The Langston Ballet Theatre was beautiful, all gold trim and deep red curtains. The kind of place that whispered old money and tradition. The curtain rose. Music filled the air, soft at first, then growing. Dancers appeared on stage, moving like water, like wind. Ethan watched without really seeing. His mind wandered to tomorrow's meeting, next week's merger. Then everything changed. A young dancer stepped forward. She couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old. Small, graceful, wearing a white tutu that caught the stage lights. She began to dance. Ethan's breath stopped. The girl's face, those eyes, that smile when she turned toward the audience. His hands gripped the armrests. She looked like him. No, not just similar. She looked exactly like him. The shape of her face, the way her eyes crinkled at the corners, even the determined set of her jaw as she concentrated on her steps. His heart pounded so hard he thought people around him might hear it. The girl danced beautifully. Every movement was precise, filled with emotion beyond her years. The audience watched in silence, mesmerized, but Ethan barely saw the dance anymore. He saw himself in her, his childhood photos, his mother's old comments about his stubborn chin, his bright eyes. The performance ended. The dancers took their bows. Applause erupted around him. Ethan sat frozen. Then he saw her. Across the aisle, 3 rows up, a woman stood clapping, her face radiant with pride. Beautiful brown skin, natural hair pulled back in an elegant twist, a simple black dress that somehow made her shine brighter than anyone else in the room. Amara. 7 years vanished in an instant. 7 years since he'd seen her face, heard her laugh, felt her hand in his. 7 years since the worst mistake of his life. She was looking at the young dancer, clapping so hard her hands must have hurt. Tears streamed down her face. Happy tears, proud tears. The little girl waved from the stage, directly at Amara. And Amara mouthed something. Ethan couldn't hear it over the applause, but he could read her lips. "I love you, sweetheart." The truth crashed over him like a wave. That girl, that beautiful, talented little girl who looked exactly like him, she was his daughter. The lobby buzzed with conversation. People in expensive clothes sipped wine and talked about the performance. Someone laughed too loud. A camera flashed. Ethan couldn't move from his seat. The theater emptied around him. Ushers began cleaning the aisles. Still he sat there, hands shaking. A daughter. He had a daughter. Memories flooded back. 7 years ago he'd been different. Younger, scared, trying to build something from nothing. He'd met Amara at a community event. She'd been teaching dance to kids at a rec center. He'd been there representing his struggling startup, trying to network. She'd smiled at him, really smiled, like she saw something good in him. They'd fallen fast. 3 months of the best days he'd ever known. She made him laugh, made him believe in more than just success and money. made him feel like maybe he could be someone worth loving. Then his company started failing. Debts piled up. Fear consumed him. His father's voice echoed in his head. "You'll never amount to anything, just like me." So he ran, packed his bags one night while Amara was at work, left a note that said he couldn't do this anymore, didn't explain, didn't fight for them, just left. He'd rebuilt his life after that, worked day and night, made his company successful beyond his wildest dreams, became the millionaire everyone respected, but he'd never stopped thinking about her. Now, sitting in this empty theater, he realized the truth. She'd been pregnant, she'd had his child, raised her alone for 7 years. While he built his fortune, his daughter grew up without him. "Sir?" An usher approached. "We're closing the theater." Ethan stood on shaky legs. "The reception." "Where's the reception?" "In the East Wing, sir." He walked like a man in a dream, through hallways decorated with photos of past performances, past chattering groups of ballet patrons. His eyes searched every face. Then he found them. Near a table of refreshments, Amara knelt beside the young dancer. She held the girl's hands, speaking softly. The girl, Clara, he somehow knew her name was Clara, bounced excitedly, still wearing her costume. Ethan moved closer, staying behind a pillar. He needed to see, needed to be sure. "You were perfect, baby," Amara said. Her voice was exactly as he remembered, warm, musical. "I'm so proud of you." "Did you see when I did the pirouette?" Clara asked. "I didn't wobble." "Not even a little bit." Amara kissed her forehead. "My brave, beautiful girl." Clara hugged her mother tight. "I love you, Mama. I love you more than anything in this world." Ethan's eyes burned. He pressed his back against the pillar, fighting to breathe. She'd done it all alone. Every late night, every worry, every moment of joy and fear. She'd been both parents while he built his empire and pretended his heart didn't ache. "Clara, sweetheart, you did it." Another voice. A woman in a purple dress approached them, Asian, about 30, with kind eyes. "That was incredible." "Thanks, Aunt Daphne." Clara beamed. Daphne. He remembered that name. Amara's best friend from her dance days. They talked for a few more minutes. Then Amara gathered Clara's things, preparing to leave. Ethan knew he should walk away, come back another day, think this through. Instead, his feet carried him forward. Amara. Her name fell from his lips before he could stop it. She turned, saw him. Her whole body went rigid. For 3 heartbeats, nobody moved. Then Clara looked up at him with curious eyes. "Hi, did you like the show?" His voice cracked. "You were amazing." "Thank you." She smiled. His smile. "I'm Clara. What's your name?" "Ethan," he managed. "That's a nice name." "Clara," Amara said quietly. "Go wait with Aunt Daphne for a moment, okay?" "But Mama..." "Please, sweetie." Something in Amara's tone made the girl obey. Daphne took Clara's hand, leading her toward the refreshment table. But Daphne's eyes stayed on Ethan, sharp and protective. Amara stood. She was shorter than he remembered. Or maybe he just felt small. "Ethan." She said his name like it hurt. "Hi." Silence stretched between them. 7 years of silence. "She's beautiful," he finally said. Amara's jaw tightened. "Don't." "Is she?" "Don't do this here." Her voice stayed level, but her hands trembled. "Not here. Not now. I just need to know." "You need?" Her eyes flashed. "You don't get to need anything." People around them started to notice. Heads turned. Whispers began. Ethan lowered his voice. "Please, just tell me. Is she mine?" Amara looked at him for a long moment. Emotions played across her face. Anger, pain, something that might have been old love. "Go home, Ethan." She turned away. "Amara, wait." But she was already walking toward Clara and Daphne. She took her daughter's hand, said something to Daphne, and headed for the exit. Clara waved at him over her shoulder. "Bye, Ethan." His heart cracked open. He watched them disappear through the doors. Watched his daughter, because she was his daughter, he knew it in his bones, walk out of the theater, and he stood there alone in a room full of strangers, knowing everything had changed. "She's mine," he whispered to the empty air. "She's mine." Morning came too soon. Ethan hadn't slept. He'd sat in his penthouse all night, staring at the city lights below. His coffee had gone cold hours ago. The sunrise painted the sky orange and pink, beautiful, empty. He picked up his phone, put it down, picked it up again. What was he supposed to do? Show up at Amara's door, demand answers, beg for a chance? His phone buzzed. "Marcus, where are you?" his business partner asked. "Board meeting starts in 20 minutes. Cancel it." "What?" "Ethan, We've had this scheduled for... Cancel everything this week. Silence then. What happened? I can't explain right now. Try. Ethan closed his eyes. I saw someone last night. Someone I knew a long time ago. A woman? Marcus. Finally. Marcus laughed. It's about time. You've been married to your work for too long. Is she nice, pretty? When do I meet her? It's complicated. Everything with you is complicated. Marcus's voice softened. Take the time you need. I'll handle things here. Thanks. After they hung up, Ethan opened his laptop. His fingers hesitated over the keyboard. Then he typed, Amara Lewis. The search results appeared. Her photo, a professional headshot from the Langston Ballet Theatre website. She was listed as a choreographer and instructor. He clicked through to the ballet school's page. There were photos of classes, performances, students practicing. His eyes searched every image, looking for Clara. There, a group photo from last month. Clara stood in the front row wearing a pink leotard, grinning at the camera. His daughter. He studied her face, memorized every detail, the determination in her eyes, the way she stood with perfect posture even in a casual photo, the joy that seemed to radiate from her. What was her favorite color? Did she like school? What made her laugh? 7 years of questions he couldn't answer. His finger hovered over the ballet school's phone number. He could call, pretend to be interested in donations. That would give him an excuse to visit. It felt wrong, manipulative. But what choice did he have? Amara had made it clear she didn't want him there. He picked up his phone. The Langston Ballet School occupied an old converted warehouse in the arts district. Exposed brick walls, high ceilings, windows that let in floods of natural light. Ethan stood outside for 5 minutes before going in. Inside, piano music drifted from somewhere deep in the building. The lobby smelled like pine cleaning solution and rosine. Photos lined the walls, students in performances, teachers demonstrating positions, ballet history. Can I help you? A young man sat at the reception desk, maybe 20, with bright green hair and a nose ring. I'm here about the youth program, Ethan said. I'm interested in making a donation. Oh, awesome. Let me get Mrs. Williams. The young man picked up a phone. A few minutes later, an older black woman approached. She wore a flowing purple dress and walked with the grace of a former dancer. Hello, I'm Mrs. Williams, the director here. She shook his hand warmly. And you are? Ethan Ward. Something flickered in her eyes. Had Amara told her about him? Mr. Ward, what brings you to us today? He delivered the prepared speech about wanting to support youth arts programs. She listened attentively, nodding. That's wonderful. Would you like a tour? If it's not too much trouble. She led him down a hallway, lined with practice rooms. Through windows, he glimpsed students of all ages. Tiny ones in pink leotards, teenagers perfecting pirouettes, adults in modern dance classes. We serve students from all backgrounds, Mrs. Williams explained. Many on scholarship. We believe dance should be accessible to everyone. That's admirable. They turned a corner. Through a large studio window, he saw her. Amara stood at the front of a room full of young dancers. She wore black leggings and a fitted purple top, her hair pulled back. She demonstrated a movement, her body flowing with a grace that made his chest ache. That's one of our best choreographers, Mrs. Williams said. Amara Lewis. She's been with us for 5 years. Ethan couldn't look away. Amara corrected a student's position gently, showing her how to extend her arm properly. The student tried again. Amara smiled and nodded encouragement. She was an incredible teacher, patient, kind, firm when needed, but never harsh. She's talented, Ethan said quietly. One of the best. Her students always shine. A door burst open behind them. Small feet pounded down the hallway. Mama! Mama! Clara ran toward the studio where Amara taught. She wore a school uniform, pleated skirt, white shirt, backpack bouncing. Ethan's heart stuttered. Clara? Mrs. Williams called. Walking feet, please. Clara slowed to a fast walk, grinning. She disappeared into the studio. Through the window, Ethan watched Amara's face transform. She knelt, opening her arms. Clara crashed into her, talking excitedly about something that had happened at school. The other students gathered around, all chattering at once. Amara laughed, trying to answer everyone's questions while hugging her daughter. That's Amara's little girl, Mrs. Williams said. Sweet child, very talented like her mother. Ethan tried to speak. Couldn't. Shall we continue the tour? They moved on. But Ethan's mind stayed in that studio, watching Amara with Clara. Eventually, Mrs. Williams led him back to the lobby. So, Mr. Ward, what kind of donation were you thinking? Before he could answer, the studio door opened. Students poured out, grabbing water bottles and towels, and then Amara appeared, holding Clara's hand. She saw him. Her steps faltered. Her eyes went wide. Clara noticed him too. "Ethan," she waved. "You came to my school." She pulled free from Amara's grip and ran toward him. "Clara, wait," Amara started. But Clara was already in front of him, bouncing on her toes. "Are you here to watch us dance? Do you like ballet? Mama's the best teacher. She can show you everything." Ethan crouched down to her level. "I bet she's an amazing teacher." "She is." Clara's face scrunched in concentration. "Hey, did anyone ever tell you that you look like me?" The world stopped. "Clara," Amara's voice strained. "We have the same eyes." Clara continued, peering at him closely. "And the same smile." "Mama, look, doesn't he look like me?" Amara had gone pale. "Clara, sweetheart, let's let Mr. Ward finish his business." "But Mama, now please." The firmness in Amara's tone made Clara obey, but she looked confused, hurt even. Mrs. Williams glanced between them, clearly sensing the tension. "Why don't you take Clara to get a snack, Amara? Mr. Ward and I were just finishing up." Amara nodded stiffly. She took Clara's hand and led her down the hallway. But Clara kept looking back at Ethan, waving. He waved back, his hand trembling. After they disappeared, Mrs. Williams turned to him. Her expression had changed, knowing. "Mr. Ward, I think perhaps you should come back another time to discuss the donation." Yes, of course." She walked him to the door. Just before he left, she said quietly, "Whatever brought you here, I hope you handle it gently. That's a good family. They don't need more heartache. I'm not trying to cause heartache. Intentions don't always match outcomes." She held the door open. "Good day, Mr. Ward." He walked back to his car in a daze, sat behind the wheel without starting the engine. "You look like me." Clara had said it so innocently, with pure observation, no hidden meaning. But Amara had known, had seen it too. His phone buzzed. A text from a number he didn't recognize. "My office, 6 p.m. Come alone, Amara." His hands shook as he typed back, "I'll be there." The ballet school emptied as evening approached. Students left with parents. Teachers locked up studios. By 6 o'clock, the building sat quiet. Ethan walked through the dimly lit hallways. His footsteps echoed off the hardwood floors. He found Amara's office at the end of a corridor. The door stood slightly open. Light spilled out. He knocked. "Come in." She sat behind a small desk covered in papers, schedules and photos. Photos of Clara. Clara as a baby. Clara at her first recital. Clara blowing out birthday candles. 7 years of memories he'd missed. "Close the door," Amara said. He did, then stood there, awkward in his expensive suit, while she stayed seated in her dance clothes. "Sit down before you pass out," she said. He sat in the only other chair, a metal folding chair that squeaked under his weight. Silence filled the room. "She's mine," he finally said. Not a question, a statement. Amara looked at him for a long time. Her face showed nothing. Then, barely above a whisper, "Yes." The word hit him like a physical blow. He'd known, of course, had been certain since the moment he saw Clara on stage, but hearing Amara confirm it made it real in a way nothing else had. "Why didn't you tell me?" She laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "Tell you? You left a note, Ethan. A note that said you couldn't do this anymore. No explanation, no phone call. You just disappeared. I was scared. We were all scared." Her voice rose. "You think I wasn't terrified? I was 22 years old, working 2 jobs, trying to make it as a dancer, and suddenly I was pregnant and alone. I'm sorry." "Don't." She held up a hand. "Don't apologize like that makes it okay. You don't get to walk back in after 7 years and say sorry. Then what do I say?" "Nothing. There's nothing to say." She stood, pacing to the window. "I raised her, Ethan. Every sleepless night, every fever, every scraped knee and bad dream. I was there. You weren't. I didn't know. Would it have mattered?" She turned to face him. "Really? If I'd tracked you down, told you I was pregnant, would you have stayed?" The question hung in the air. Ethan wanted to say yes, wanted to believe he would have been brave enough, but the truth was he didn't know. The man he'd been 7 years ago, drowning in fear and self-doubt. "I don't know," he admitted. "At least you're honest." She crossed her arms. "She's happy, Ethan. Clara is happy. She has a good life. Friends, school, dance. She doesn't need—" "A father?" The words tasted bitter. "You were going to say she doesn't need a father. I was going to say she doesn't need chaos. She has stability, peace. I built that for her. I see that." And you did an incredible job. Don't patronize me. I'm not. He stood, frustration building. Amara, I messed up. I know that. I was a coward. But I'm here now. I want what? To play dad on weekends, to swoop in with your money and buy her love. That's not fair. Fair? Her voice cracked. You want to talk about fair? You left without looking back, built your empire, became this successful millionaire, while She stopped, took a breath. While I learned how to be both parents at once. Tears shone in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Ethan felt his own eyes burn. What do you want me to do, walk away again, pretend I never saw her? I don't know. The words burst out of her. I don't know, okay? I spent 7 years making peace with raising her alone, 7 years building a life where we're okay. And then you show up and what? And she likes you. Amara's voice dropped to almost a whisper. Clara saw you for 5 minutes and she already likes you. Asked about you all afternoon. Wanted to know if you'd come back. Is that so bad? Yes, because when you leave again, and you will leave, Ethan, that's what you do. She'll be the one who hurts. Not me. Her. The accusation stung because it was true. He had left, had run when things got hard. But he wasn't that person anymore. I'm not leaving, he said firmly. You don't know that. Yes, I do. He took a step closer. I'm not that scared kid anymore, Amara. I've changed. People don't change that much. I did. Had to. And maybe seeing Clara, seeing you again, that's supposed to mean something. She shook her head. This isn't some romantic story where you get a second chance just because you showed up. Real life doesn't work that way. I know that. Do you? She met his eyes. Because real life is hard, Ethan. It's getting up at 5 a.m. because your daughter had a nightmare. It's working 2 jobs to afford dance lessons. It's explaining to a 6-year-old why her friends have daddies and she doesn't. Each word cut deeper than the last. Let me help, he said quietly. Please, let me be part of her life. Why should I? Because she's my daughter, and because, he hesitated, because you raised her to be kind and happy and perfect. That means you're a good person, Amara. Good enough to give me a chance I don't deserve. She was quiet for a long moment. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the office in amber light. She can't get hurt, Amara finally said. That's my only rule. You can't come into her life if you're going to disappear again. I won't. Promise me. Look me in the eye and promise. He held her gaze. I promise. I'm not going anywhere. She studied his face, searching for lies, finding none. Okay, she said slowly. Okay, but we do this my way, slowly. You don't get to tell her you're her father. Not yet. Not until I'm sure you'll stay. When can I see her again? I don't know. I need time to think. Amara, that's my condition. Take it or leave it. What choice did he have? I'll take it. She nodded, exhausted. You should go. He wanted to say more, wanted to explain everything, how he'd thought about her every day, how seeing Clara had broken open something in his chest, how he'd never stopped loving her even when he'd tried. But this wasn't the time. Thank you, he said instead. Don't thank me yet. He walked to the door, paused with his hand on the knob. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. For everything. She didn't answer. He left her standing in the amber light, surrounded by photos of the daughter they shared. That night, Ethan sat in his penthouse, looking at the city below. Usually this view made him feel powerful, successful, like he'd conquered the world. Tonight it just felt empty. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through his contacts, stopped at Marcus's name. Twice in one day, Marcus answered. This is serious. I need advice. About the woman? Yeah, I'm listening. Ethan took a breath. Then for the first time in 7 years, he told someone the truth. About Amara, about how he'd left, about Clara. Marcus stayed quiet through the whole story. When Ethan finished, silence stretched for several seconds. Wow, Marcus finally said. Wow. I know. So you have a daughter. I have a daughter. And you want to be in her life? More than anything. Another pause. What about Amara? What about her? Come on, man. You're not just doing this for the kid. You still have feelings for her. Did he? After 7 years. But even as he asked the question, he knew the answer. Yes. Seeing Amara again had awakened something he'd buried deep. That pull toward her. That sense that she understood him in a way no one else ever had. It doesn't matter, Ethan said. She doesn't trust me. Might never trust me again. Can you blame her? No. Then you know what you have to do. What? Prove it. Marcus's voice turned serious. Not with money or grand gestures, with time, with showing up, with being the person she needs you to be. What if I can't? What if you can? Ethan looked at a photo on his phone, one he'd secretly taken today at the ballet school. Clara smiling, full of life. His daughter. I'm not walking away this time, he said quietly. Good. Then don't. No matter how hard it gets, don't run. After they hung up, Ethan sat in the darkness for a long time. Outside, the city lights twinkled. Cars moved through streets below. People lived their lives unaware that his had just changed completely. He thought about Amara's rules. Slow, careful. Earn Clara's trust without telling her who he really was. It would be torture, being near his daughter but unable to claim her. Watching Amara from a distance, knowing he'd destroyed what they had, but he'd do it, would do anything, because Clara deserved a father who stayed. And Amara deserved someone who fought for her instead of running away. He picked up his laptop, started composing an email to Mrs. Williams about that donation he'd promised, a real one, for the youth program, in Clara's name. It was a start, small, imperfect, but a start nonetheless. His phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Ballet class, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. You can watch, but you stay quiet, and you leave when I say. His heart leaped. Thank you. I'll be there. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Don't make me regret this. I won't. He stared at the screen long after the conversation ended. Saturday, 3 days away. 3 days until he could see his daughter again. 3 days to figure out how to be the man they both needed. Outside, the city sparkled with possibility and promise. For the first time in 7 years, Ethan Ward felt something other than emptiness. He felt hope. Saturday morning arrived wrapped in golden sunshine. Ethan stood outside the ballet school at 9:45, 15 minutes early. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. He'd changed clothes 3 times, finally settled on jeans and a simple grey sweater. Nothing too formal, nothing that screamed, I'm trying too hard. The door opened. Mrs. Williams appeared carrying a coffee cup. Mr. Ward, punctual. Yes, Mum. She studied him for a moment. Amara told me you'd be observing today. She said I could watch the class. She also said you're to sit in the back, stay quiet and leave immediately when asked. Mrs. Williams' voice was kind but firm. Those are her rules, not mine. Can you follow them? Yes, Mum. Good. She held the door open. Come on then. He followed her through the quiet building. Most studios were empty this early, but from one room he heard piano music and the sound of small feet. Mrs. Williams stopped outside the door. Remember, quiet. I understand. She nodded and walked away. Ethan took a breath, pushed open the door. The studio was filled with morning light. Mirrors lined one wall. A piano sat in the corner where an elderly man played soft music, and in the center, 8 little girls in pink leotards followed Amara's instructions. Clara stood in the front row. Ethan slipped into a chair against the back wall. His heart hammered. Beautiful, everyone, Amara said. She demonstrated a movement, arms raised, one foot pointed. Now you try. The girls copied her. Some wobbled, others got it perfectly. Clara's movements were precise, focused. Amara walked among them, correcting gently. Emma, lift your chin. That's it. Sophie, point those toes more. She hadn't noticed Ethan yet, or if she had, she didn't show it. Let's try the combination we learned last week, Amara said. Remember, step, step, turn and hold. The piano music changed. The girls began dancing. Ethan watched Clara move across the floor. She was good, really good. Natural grace combined with determination that reminded him of himself. Pride swelled in his chest. His daughter, dancing like she was born to it. Amara clapped. Wonderful. Take a water break, everyone. The girls scattered, grabbing water bottles. Clara turned toward the back of the room and saw him. Her face lit up like sunrise. Ethan, she started toward him. Clara, Amara's voice stopped her. What's our rule about visitors? Clara froze. We don't interrupt class. That's right. But Mama, it's Ethan from the theater. I know who it is. Amara finally looked at him. Her expression was unreadable. He's here to observe. You can say hello after class. Okay. Clara bounced on her toes, waving at him. Hi, Ethan. He waved back, smiling so wide his face hurt. The class continued. Ethan watched every moment, watched Clara master a difficult turn, watched Amara praise a shy girl who finally got a step right, watched the way she commanded the room without raising her voice. She was an incredible teacher, Patient when the girls struggled, excited when they succeeded. She made each child feel seen. After an hour, Amara called the class to an end. Great work today, everyone. Practice your positions at home. I'll see you next week. Parents appeared in the doorway to collect their daughters. The girls gathered bags and jackets. Clara ran straight to Ethan. You came to watch me dance. I did. He crouched to her level. You were amazing. Did you see my pirouette? I did 3 spins. I counted. They were perfect. She beamed. Then her expression turned curious. Why are you here? Do you like ballet? Good question. What was he supposed to say? I'm learning about the school, he said carefully. Your mom's letting me watch classes. Are you going to take lessons? Her eyes widened. Adults can take lessons too. Mama teaches a grown-up class on Wednesdays. Maybe someday. You should. It's really fun. And you could learn to lift people. That's the best part. Amara approached. Clara, go get your things. Mrs. Harper's waiting to take you to the park. Mrs. Harper's here. Clara spun around. Where? In the lobby. Clara grabbed her dance bag, started to run, then remembered. Walking feet, she called back, slowing to a fast walk. They watched her go. Then it was just Ethan and Amara in the empty studio. Piano music from another room drifted through the walls. Thank you for letting me come, he said. I said you could watch, once. She began gathering her things. Don't expect it to become regular. Can I come back? To another class? She paused. Why? Because she's my daughter, and I missed 7 years. I don't want to miss any more. It's not about what you want. I know. It's about what's best for Clara. Amara looked at him, really looked, like she was trying to see inside his head. You can come next Saturday, she finally said. Same time, same rules. Relief flooded through him. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. She headed toward the door. I'm doing it because Clara already asked 3 times when you'd visit again. She left before he could respond. Ethan stood alone in the sunny studio, feeling like he'd just won the lottery. By Wednesday, Ethan had attended 2 more classes. Each time, he sat in the back and watched. Each time, Clara waved and smiled at him. Each time, Amara kept her distance, but he was patient. This was progress. Thursday afternoon, Marcus called. Where have you been? We've barely talked this week. Busy? With the ballet dancer and her kid? Her name is Amara, so it's serious. Ethan looked out his office window. I'm trying, Marcus. That's all I can do. You really care about them. Yeah, I do. Then keep trying. It'll work out. Ethan hoped he was right. Friday evening, he got a text from Amara. Clara has a rehearsal tomorrow afternoon. You can come if you want, but you'll have to help. We're short on volunteers. His heart jumped. What kind of help? Stage work, moving equipment, whatever's needed. If you're not willing to actually work, don't bother showing up. He smiled. I'll be there. What time? 2 p.m. See you then. He stared at the phone, rereading the message. This was different. This wasn't just watching. She was letting him participate. It was progress. Saturday afternoon, the theater buzzed with activity. Kids ran everywhere. Parents organized costumes. Teachers gave instructions over the chaos. Ethan found Amara backstage, holding a clipboard and looking stressed. You came, she said I would. Good, we need someone tall. The backdrop needs to be hung, and everyone else is busy. She led him to where Daphne stood beside a massive painted canvas. Daphne, this is Ethan. Ethan, Daphne. Daphne looked him up and down. Her expression was cool. So you're him? I am. She turned to Amara. You sure about this? We need the help, Amara said shortly. Show him what to do. She walked away. Daphne handed Ethan a ladder. Backdrop hooks are up there. Think you can handle it? I'll manage. They worked in silence for a few minutes. Ethan climbed the ladder, attached hooks, helped pull the heavy canvas into place. You hurt her, you know, Daphne said suddenly. Back then, she didn't eat for 3 days after you left. Ethan's hands stilled. I know. Do you? Because from where I stood, you disappeared without a word, left her pregnant and alone. I didn't know she was pregnant. Would it have mattered? The same question Amara had asked. Yes, he said firmly. It would have. Daphne studied him. You better mean that. I do. Because Clara's a good kid. Special. If you're just here because you feel guilty, walk away now. I'm not here because of guilt. He climbed down the ladder. I'm here because she's my daughter. And because I was a coward 7 years ago. I'm trying not to be one now. Daphne's expression softened slightly. Amara won't admit it, but she's scared. Of what? Of you leaving again. Of Clara getting attached and then losing you. Daphne adjusted the backdrop. So, prove you're staying. Don't just say it. Show it. I'm trying. Try harder. Before he could respond, Clara's voice rang out. Ethan! She ran toward him wearing her costume, a blue tutu with silver ribbons. You're helping with the show. Your mom asked me to. That's so cool. Are you going to watch me rehearse? If your mom says it's okay. Clara turned to where Amara stood talking to another teacher. Mama, can Ethan watch my rehearsal? Amara glanced over, met his eyes. Something passed between them. Uncertainty, maybe. Or hope. He can stay, she called back. Clara squealed and grabbed his hand. Come on, I'll show you where to sit. She dragged him toward the audience seating. Her small hand in his felt like the most important thing in the world. They reached the third row. Clara pointed. Sit here. This is the best view. Thank you. She grinned. I'm dancing a solo today. It's really hard, but I practiced a lot. I'm sure you'll be great. My character is a bird who learns to fly. Mama choreographed it just for me. Pride filled her voice when she talked about Amara. Love. Complete trust. Ethan wondered if Clara would ever look at him that way. Dancers, places, Amara called. Clara squeezed his arm. Watch me, okay? I won't look away for a second. She ran back toward the stage. The rehearsal began. Kids performed their parts. Some remembered every step. Others forgot and had to start over. Amara guided them all with endless patience. Then it was Clara's turn. She took her position center stage. The music started. Something soft and hopeful. Clara began to dance. She was good during class. But this was different. This was art. She moved like water, like wind. Every gesture told a story. The bird trying its wings, falling, trying again, finally soaring. Ethan's throat tightened. She was beautiful, talented, perfect, and she was his. The music swelled. Clara executed a perfect leap, landing gracefully. Then her foot caught on something. She stumbled, tried to catch herself, and fell, hard. Ethan was out of his seat before he realized he'd moved. He ran toward the stage, his heart in his throat. Clara sat on the floor, crying. Not loud sobs. Quiet, hurt tears. Clara! Amara rushed from the wings. But Ethan got there first. He knelt beside her. Hey, it's okay. I fell. Tears streamed down her face. I messed up. Let me see. He gently examined her ankle. Does this hurt? She winced. A little. Can you move it? She rotated her foot slowly. Winced again, but managed it. Probably just twisted, he said softly. You're going to be okay. Amara appeared beside them, breathless. Clara, baby. Mama, I fell. Clara reached for her. Amara scooped her up, holding her close. I know, sweetheart. I saw. I ruined the dance. No, you didn't. These things happen. Clara buried her face in Amara's shoulder. Ethan stood there, feeling helpless. He'd caught her, sort of, but Amara was the one Clara wanted, the one who could make it better. Let me take her to the office, Amara said. Put some ice on that ankle. I can help, Ethan offered. Amara hesitated, then nodded. Okay. They walked together through the backstage area. Clara stayed in Amara's arms, sniffling. In the small office, Amara set Clara on the desk. Ethan found ice in a mini fridge and wrapped it in a towel. Here, he handed it to Clara. Hold this on your ankle. It's cold. That's how it helps. She pressed it to her ankle, making a face. Amara stroked Clara's hair. You were doing so well, baby. But I fell. Dancers fall sometimes. Even professional ones. It doesn't mean you failed. Really? Really. Amara kissed her forehead. You know what matters. That you got back up. I didn't, though. Ethan helped me. Both of them looked at him. You were very brave, Ethan said quietly. Falling hurts, but you didn't give up. Clara considered this. Will my ankle be okay for the show? We'll see how it feels in a few days, Amara said. For now, just rest it. Okay. A knock at the door. Daphne poked her head in. Everything all right? She twisted her ankle, Amara said. But she'll be fine. Poor thing. Daphne came in, carrying Clara's dance bag. I grabbed your stuff, sweetie. Thanks, Aunt Daphne. Why don't I take her home? Daphne suggested. Give her some rest. You finish up rehearsal. Are you sure? Of course. Come on, little bird. Let's get you home and elevated. Clara slid off the desk carefully, tested her weight on the injured ankle. Ow. Here. Ethan crouched. Hop on. What? Piggyback ride. So you don't have to walk. Clara's face brightened. She climbed onto his back, wrapping her arms around his neck. Ethan stood slowly, carefully. She weighed almost nothing. Whoa. I'm so tall. He carried her out to the parking lot. Daphne walked beside them, chatting with Clara about what movies they'd watch at home. Amara followed quietly. At Daphne's car, Ethan set Clara down gently. Thanks for the ride, Clara said. That was fun. Anytime. She hugged him suddenly, quick, impulsive. Then she was in the car, waving goodbye as Daphne drove away. Ethan and Amara stood in the parking lot. Thank you, she said quietly, for helping. Of course. She really likes you. I really like her too. Amara wrapped her arms around herself. This is hard. I know. Seeing you with her, watching her light up when you're around. She looked away. It scares me. Why? Because what happens when you realize this is too much? That being a parent isn't always fun piggyback rides and ballet rehearsals. It's homework fights and stomach bugs and teenage rebellion. I know it won't be easy. Do you? She turned to him. Or are you just caught up in the idea of having a daughter? The cute moments. It's not like that. Then what's it like? He searched for the right words. It's like I've been holding my breath for 7 years. And seeing her, being near her, I can finally breathe again. Amara's eyes glistened. I know I don't deserve another chance, he continued, with Clara or with you, but I'm asking anyway. Please, let me prove I'm not going anywhere. She was quiet for a long moment. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the parking lot. Okay, she finally said. Okay? Come to dinner. Tomorrow night. At my apartment. She met his eyes. It's time Clara understood who you are. His heart stopped. You mean? I mean we tell her. Together. But only if you're absolutely sure you're staying. I'm sure. Because if you leave after this, it will destroy her. Do you understand that? I won't leave. Promise me. I promise. He held her gaze. On everything I have. I promise. She nodded slowly. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, I'll text you the address. I'll be there. She walked back toward the theater, leaving him standing in the golden afternoon light. Tomorrow, everything would change. Tomorrow, his daughter would know the truth. Ethan didn't sleep that night. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, imagining every possible way the conversation could go. Would Clara be happy, angry, confused? Would she want him to be her dad, or would she reject him? By morning, he'd made himself sick with worry. He called Marcus. It's Sunday morning, Marcus groaned. Why are you calling? I'm telling her tonight. Telling who what? Clara, that I'm her father. Silence. Then, wow, that's big. What if she hates me? Why would she hate you? Because I wasn't there. Because I left her mom. She's 7, right? Yeah. Then she probably won't understand all that. Kids are simple. They just want to know you love them. I do love her. Then tell her that. The rest will work itself out. After they hung up, Ethan felt slightly better. He spent the day preparing. Bought flowers for Amara. Nothing too fancy, just simple daisies. Bought a children's book about families for Clara. At 5:30, he stood outside his apartment building, flowers in one hand, gift bag in the other. His phone buzzed. We're ready. He got in his car and drove across town. Amara's apartment was in a quiet neighborhood. Tree-lined streets, small houses with front porches. Not fancy, but safe and clean. He parked outside her building, walked up to the second floor, knocked on door 2B. Footsteps. The door opened. Amara stood there wearing a yellow dress. Her hair was down, natural curls framing her face. She looked nervous. Hi, she said. Hi. These are for you. He handed her the flowers. Thank you. They're beautiful. She stepped aside. Come in. The apartment was small but cozy. Colorful pillows on the couch. Photos on every wall. Most of Clara. A bookshelf overflowing with books and ballet trophies. Mama, is he here? Clara called from another room. Yes, baby, come out. Clara appeared wearing a pink dress. Her ankle was wrapped in a bandage. Ethan, you came for dinner. I did. He handed her the gift bag. This is for you. Really? She opened it carefully, pulled out the book. What's it about? It's about different kinds of families. I thought you might like it. Cool. She flipped through the pages. Mama, look at the pictures. They're lovely. Amara smiled softly. Why don't you put it on your bookshelf? Dinner's almost ready. Clara ran to her room, limped quickly. Amara turned to Ethan. We'll tell her after dinner. Let her eat first. Okay. Are you nervous? Terrified. Me too. They shared a look, united in fear and hope. Dinner was simple. Spaghetti and salad. Clara talked the whole time, telling stories about school and her friends. Ethan listened, asking questions, making her laugh. It felt normal, like they were a family. but the weight of what was coming hung over everything. Finally, the plates were cleared. Clara helped put dishes in the sink. "Clara, sweetie," Amara said, "come sit with me and Ethan for a minute. We need to talk to you about something." Clara's face scrunched with worry. "Am I in trouble?" "No, baby. Not at all, just come sit." They settled on the couch, Clara between them swinging her legs. Amara took a breath. "Clara, you know how you've asked about your daddy before?" Clara nodded. "You said he had to go away before I was born." "That's right. And that was true." Amara glanced at Ethan. "But I didn't tell you everything." "What do you mean?" "I mean," Amara's voice caught, "your daddy didn't know about you. When he left, he didn't know I was going to have a baby." Clara looked confused. "He didn't know about me?" "No, sweetheart. But why not?" "Because sometimes grown-ups make mistakes and don't communicate the way they should." Clara thought about this. "So where is he now?" Ethan's heart pounded. Amara took Clara's hand. "He's here, baby. He came back." Clara looked around the room. "Where?" "Right here." Amara gestured to Ethan. Clara's eyes went wide. She stared at him. "Ethan?" He nodded, not trusting his voice. You're my daddy?" "Yes." The word came out rough. "I am." Clara's mouth opened, closed. She looked at Amara, then back at Ethan. "That's why we look the same," she said slowly. "Because you're my daddy." "That's right." Tears filled her eyes. "Why didn't you come sooner?" The question broke his heart. "I didn't know about you," he said gently. "Your mama and I lost touch before you were born. I didn't know she was pregnant, but as soon as I saw you at the ballet, I knew. And I wanted to meet you so badly." "You did? More than anything." A tear rolled down her cheek. "Did you want me?" "Oh, sweetheart." He couldn't stop himself. He pulled her into a hug. "I wanted you from the moment I knew you existed. Every single day," she cried against his chest. Not sad crying, the kind of crying that comes from relief. Amara wiped her own eyes. When Clara finally pulled back, she looked at him seriously. "Are you going to stay?" "Yes, I promise. Forever, forever." "Even when I'm annoying?" He laughed through tears. "Even then." She hugged him again. "I always wanted a daddy." His arms tightened around her. "And I always wanted you." They stayed like that for a long time. Eventually, Clara pulled away, wiping her eyes. "Can I call you Dad?" Ethan's breath caught. "If you want to." "I want to." She smiled, his smile. "Hi, Dad." "Hi, sweetheart." She giggled, then looked at Amara. "Mama, is this real?" "Yes, baby. It's real." Clara launched herself at Amara, hugging her tight. "Thank you for finding him. He found us, actually. But you let him stay." "Yeah, I did." Clara pulled back. "Does this mean we're a family now?" Amara and Ethan looked at each other. "Yes," Amara said softly. "I think it does." Clara beamed. "Can Dad come to my next ballet class?" "We'll see." "Can he come to my school play?" "If he wants to." Clara turned to Ethan. "Do you want to?" "I want to go to everything," he said honestly. "Every performance, every school event, everything." "Promise?" "Promise." She hugged him again, and sitting there, with his daughter in his arms and Amara watching them with tears in her eyes, Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in 7 years. He felt whole. 2 hours later, Clara finally fell asleep on the couch, exhausted from emotions. Ethan carried her to her bedroom, tucked her under her princess blanket, kissed her forehead. "Good night, sweetheart," he whispered. "Night, Dad," she mumbled, already half asleep. Those 2 words filled his entire world. He left her door cracked open and returned to the living room. Amara stood by the window, looking out at the night. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for this, for letting me be part of her life. She deserves to know her father. And you? What do you deserve?" She turned to face him. "I don't know anymore." "Amara, don't." She held up a hand. "Tonight was about Clara. Let's keep it that way." "Okay." He moved toward the door. "I should go." "Yeah." He paused at the door. "Can I see her again soon?" "She's going to want to see you every day now." "I'd like that. We'll figure out a schedule." She walked him to the door. "For now, let's take it slow." "Slow." "Right." They stood in the doorway, close enough to touch. "She called you Dad," Amara said softly. "I know. Don't make me regret this." "I won't. I swear." She looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. "Good night, Ethan." "Good night, Amara." He walked to his car feeling like he was floating. His daughter knew she'd called him Dad. She wanted him in her life. Everything was falling into place. He drove home through the quiet city streets, smiling the whole way. Tomorrow he'd start figuring out how to be the father Clara deserved. Tomorrow he'd prove to Amara he was worth trusting. Tomorrow he'd begin building the life he should have fought for 7 years ago. But tonight, He'd just hold on to this moment. The moment everything changed. The moment he became a dad. The next 2 weeks changed everything. Ethan showed up every day, not to watch from the back of the room anymore, to be part of Clara's life. He picked her up from school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They'd stop for ice cream before her dance classes. She'd tell him about her day, who sat with her at lunch, what she learned in math, which books the teacher read aloud. He learned she loved strawberry ice cream, but hated chocolate. That her best friend was a girl named Maya, who collected stickers. That her favorite subject was art, not dance, even though she was so good at ballet. Every detail felt precious. On Saturday, he watched her class again, but this time, when Clara waved at him, she called out, "Hi, Dad," and the other students looked at him with new understanding. He was Clara's father, not a visitor, not a donor, her dad. After class, Clara ran to him. "Did you see my grand jeté? I jumped so high." "You were amazing." He lifted her up, spinning her once. She shrieked with laughter. When he set her down, he saw Amara watching from the doorway. She didn't smile, but her expression had softened. The sharp edges of anger had dulled into something gentler. Progress. That evening, Amara invited him to stay for dinner again. Clara chattered the whole time, talking about everything and nothing. After they ate, the three of them played a board game at the small kitchen table. Clara won, celebrated by dancing around the room. "Bedtime, little bird," Amara said. "Oh, Mama, you have ballet in the morning. Come on." Clara hugged Ethan goodnight. "Will you be here tomorrow? I'll pick you up after dance class. We can go to the park." "Yes." She pumped her fist. After Clara went to brush her teeth, Ethan helped Amara clear the table. "She's really happy," Amara said quietly. "I haven't seen her like this in ever. I'm happy too. I can tell." She rinsed a plate. "You're good with her." "I'm trying. It shows." They worked in comfortable silence for a moment. "Amara," he said, "can I ask you something?" "What? Are we okay? You and me?" She paused. "I don't know yet. That's fair." "I'm trying to trust you," she continued. "But it's hard. Every time I start to relax, I remember how it felt when you left." "I understand. Do you?" She turned to face him. "Because I spent months after you left trying to figure out what I did wrong, wondering if I wasn't enough. You were always enough. More than enough. Then why did you leave?" He'd known this conversation was coming, had rehearsed answers in his head, but standing in her small kitchen, with the sound of Clara singing in the bathroom, only the truth felt right. "I was scared," he said. "My company was failing. I had debts I couldn't pay. And my father, he spent his whole life broke and angry. Told me I'd never be any different." Amara listened, arms crossed. "I thought if I stayed with you, I'd drag you down," Ethan continued. "Make you poor and miserable. So I ran. Thought I was protecting you. That wasn't your choice to make. I know. I was a coward." "Yes, you were." The words stung, but he deserved them. "I can't promise I'll never mess up again," he said. "But I can promise I'll never run. Whatever happens, I'll stay and face it." She studied his face. "Clara believes you. She trusts you completely. And you?" "I'm getting there." It wasn't forgiveness, but it was something. The following week, Ethan took Clara to the park after school. They fed the ducks by the pond, her small hand in his. "Dad?" she said. He still wasn't used to that word. Every time she said it, his heart swelled. "Yeah, sweetie. Why did you and Mama stop being together?" He'd been waiting for this question too. "Sometimes adults make mistakes," he said carefully. "I got scared and made a really big one. I left when I should have stayed." "Were you scared of me?" "No." He knelt down to her level. "Never of you. I didn't even know about you yet, but I was scared of failing, of not being good enough." She thought about this. "Mama says being scared is okay, but we can't let it stop us from trying." Smart kid, just like her mother. "Your mama's right. So you tried again? With us?" "Yes, and I'm going to keep trying. Forever." She hugged him. "I'm glad you came back." "Me too, sweetheart, me too." They walked around the pond talking about nothing important. What clouds looked like, whether squirrels could understand English, if ballet shoes ever got tired of dancing. On the way home, Clara asked if they could stop at the store. "What do you need?" "It's a surprise. For Mama." In the store, Clara picked out flowers, yellow roses. "These are her favorites," she explained. Ethan paid, watched Clara carry the bouquet carefully. When they got back to the apartment, Clara presented the flowers with great ceremony. "For you, Mama, from me and Dad." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "They're beautiful, baby. Thank you." She looked at Ethan over Clara's head. Something passed between them, a moment of connection. Maybe they were becoming a family after all. By the third week, Ethan had settled into a routine. Morning coffee at his penthouse, work until early afternoon, then pick up Clara from school, help with homework, take her to dance class or the park, sometimes stay for dinner. His business partners noticed the change. "You're different," Marcus said during a meeting. "Happier." "Yeah, I am." "The kid?" "Clara. Her name's Clara." "Right, Clara." Marcus smiled. "When do I get to meet her?" "Soon, maybe, if Amara's okay with it." "How are things with Amara?" "Better. Slowly better." And it was true. Amara had started smiling more when he arrived, started inviting him in without hesitation, even touched his arm once when Clara told a funny story, an unconscious gesture that made his heart race. One evening, after Clara went to bed, they sat on the couch together, not touching, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. "I never thought this would happen," Amara said softly. "You, here, being a father to Clara. Neither did I. Part of me still can't believe it's real." "It's real." He looked at her. "I'm not going anywhere." She met his eyes. For a moment, the past 7 years fell away. They were just Ethan and Amara again, young, in love, full of possibility. She looked away first. "We should talk about custody, legal stuff, whatever you want. I'll sign anything." "You don't want shared custody, formal rights?" "I want what's best for Clara, and what's best is being with you. Her home is here. You could see her more, have her stay with you some weekends. Would you be comfortable with that?" She hesitated. "Maybe. Eventually. Let's take it slow." "Slow works for me." They sat in comfortable silence. Outside, the city hummed with life. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for giving me this chance." "Don't thank me yet." But she smiled slightly. "Just keep showing up." "I will." The next Saturday, the ballet school held a small fundraiser. Parents and students gathered in the main studio. Mrs. Harper gave a speech about the importance of arts education. Ethan stood near the back with Clara beside him. She'd insisted he come, wanted to show him off to her friends. "That's my dad," she told Maya proudly. "He just came back." Maya's eyes widened. "Really? That's so cool." Other students gathered around, curious. Clara beamed, introducing him to everyone. Amara watched from across the room. Daphne stood beside her. "He's really committed," Daphne said. "I'll give him that." "Yeah, he is." "Are you falling for him again?" Amara's breath caught. "What? No, it's not like that, isn't it? We're just co-parenting, being friendly for Clara." "Uh-huh," Daphne smirked. "That's why you've been smiling more, and why you wore that dress today." Amara looked down at her clothes. A simple green dress. Nothing fancy. Okay, maybe she'd picked it because Ethan once said green was his favorite color on her. "It's complicated," she said. "Love usually is." "I didn't say anything about love." "You didn't have to." Daphne squeezed her shoulder. "Just be careful, okay? Protect your heart." "I'm trying." Across the room, Ethan lifted Clara onto his shoulders so she could see the dancers performing. Clara laughed, holding onto his head for balance. They looked perfect together. Natural, like they'd never been apart. Amara's chest tightened. Maybe Daphne was right. Maybe she was falling for him again. No, she couldn't let that happen. Not yet. Not until she was sure he'd stay. But watching him with their daughter, seeing the pure joy on both their faces, it was hard not to hope. That evening, Ethan stayed late. They ordered pizza. Watched a movie with Clara between them on the couch. Halfway through, Clara fell asleep. "She's out," Amara whispered. "Long day." They sat there, not wanting to move and wake her. "She's happy," Amara said quietly. "Happier than I've seen her in a long time. You've done an incredible job with her. We're doing a good job now." Together. The word together hung in the air. Ethan's hand rested on the couch between them, so close to hers. She should move, put distance between them. Instead, she let her pinky finger brush against his. Just that, just a tiny touch. But it felt like everything. He looked at her. She looked back. "Amara." Clara shifted in her sleep, mumbling something about flying. The moment broke. Amara stood quickly. "I should put her to bed." "Right." "Yeah." She lifted Clara carefully, carried her to the bedroom. When she came back, Ethan was gathering his things. "I should go," he said. "Okay." At the door, he paused. "Today was good." "Yeah, it was. Same time tomorrow." "Clara would like that." "And you?" She met his eyes. "I'd like it too." He smiled, really smiled, the smile she remembered from 7 years ago. "Good night, Amara. Good night." After he left, she leaned against the closed door. Her heart raced. Her hands trembled. She was definitely falling for him again, and that terrified her. Monday morning, Amara woke to her phone buzzing, multiple messages, missed calls. Confused, she checked the messages. "Daphne, call me, now. Mrs. Williams, we need to talk. Come to the school early." Her mother, "Honey, I just saw something online. Are you okay?" Dread filled her stomach. She opened her web browser, typed her name. The results made her blood run cold. Photos. Dozens of them. Her and Ethan at the fundraiser. Walking in the park with Clara. Outside the school at the restaurant. Headlines screamed, "Millionaire's secret family revealed. Ballet teacher's hidden connection to business tycoon. Ethan Ward's mystery daughter." Her hands shook. Someone had been following them, taking pictures, selling their story. She scrolled through article after article. Each one speculated about their relationship, about Clara, about money and custody and scandal, her private life, exposed for everyone to see. She called Daphne. "I saw," Daphne said immediately. "Amara, I'm so sorry. How did this happen? Someone must have recognized him at the fundraiser, or maybe they've been watching for weeks. What do I do?" "I don't know, but Mrs. Williams is worried about the school's reputation. This isn't the school's fault." "I know, but you know how people are. They'll talk." Amara felt sick. Another call came through. "Ethan, I have to go," she told Daphne. She switched calls. "Did you see?" "I saw." His voice was tight. "Amara, I'm so sorry. I'll handle this. I'll call my lawyers." "Your lawyers?" "Ethan, this isn't a business deal." "I know, but I can fix." "You can't fix this." Her voice rose. "You can't just throw money at it and make it disappear." "I'm trying to help. You've helped enough." Tears burned her eyes. "Do you understand what you've done? Clara's face is all over the internet. Strangers know where she goes to school, know about me, about us. I didn't ask for this, but you brought it. Your money, your status. This is what comes with you. I knew it. I knew this would happen. Amara, I need space. Don't call me. Don't come by. What about Clara? I'll figure it out. She'll want to see me." "And whose fault is that?" The words came out cruel, mean. "You made her love you. Now she's going to get hurt because people won't leave us alone. That's not fair." "Fair?" She laughed bitterly. "You want to talk about fair? You waltz back into our lives, play the perfect dad, and now we're all over the news. Clara's privacy is gone. My job might be at risk. But sure, let's talk about what's fair. I didn't know this would happen, but it did. And I can't do this right now." She hung up, sat on her bed, shaking. Her phone rang again. She turned it off. In the next room, Clara called out, "Mama, is it time for school?" Amara wiped her eyes, took a breath. "Coming, baby." She had to protect her daughter. That was all that mattered, even if it meant pushing Ethan away. 2 days passed. Ethan called 15 times, sent 20 messages, all unanswered. He showed up at the ballet school. Mrs. Williams met him at the door. "She doesn't want to see you, Mr. Ward. Please, I just need to talk to her. You've caused enough disruption." Mrs. Williams's kind face had turned stern. "Several parents have called with concerns. We can't have this circus affecting our students. I never meant... Intent doesn't matter, impact does." She stepped back. "Please leave." The door closed in his face. He stood there, feeling helpless. His phone buzzed. "Marcus." "The press won't stop calling," Marcus said. "What do you want me to tell them? Tell them it's none of their business. That'll just make them dig harder. You need to give a statement." "No. That'll make it worse for Amara and Clara." "Then what do we do?" "Nothing. Let it die down. These things don't just die down." "Then I'll wait it out." He ended the call, drove to the park where he'd taken Clara, sat on the bench where they'd fed the ducks. Everything had been perfect, finally perfect, and now it was falling apart. His phone buzzed again, this time a text from an unknown number. "Stop calling, Amara. You're making it worse." "D. Daphne." He typed back, "I just want to explain." "There's nothing to explain. You're a millionaire. This comes with the territory. She knew that. She just hoped it wouldn't touch Clara. Tell me how to fix this. You can't. Just give her space. For how long? As long as it takes." He threw his phone onto the passenger seat, gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. He'd promised Clara he wouldn't leave, promised Amara he'd stay no matter what. But how could he stay when she wouldn't let him near? A week crawled by. Ethan went to work, came home, stared at his phone. The press coverage died down. New scandals took over the headlines. His lawyer sent cease and desist letters to the worst offenders, but the damage was done. Marcus visited on Friday night, finding Ethan on his couch, unshaven, staring at nothing. You look terrible, Marcus said. Thanks. Have you talked to her? She won't answer. What about the kid? Clara. Ethan's voice cracked. Her name is Clara, and I don't know. Amara won't let me see her. Maybe that's for the best. What? Ethan sat up. How is that for the best? Look, I get it. You wanted to be a dad, but maybe this is too complicated, too messy. Maybe it's better to walk away. I'm not walking away. You did before. The words hit like a punch. That was different, Ethan said. Was it? Or are you just repeating the same pattern? Things get hard, so you leave. I'm not leaving. She pushed me away. Then fight for her. Marcus leaned forward. You told me you were done running. Prove it. Don't just sit here feeling sorry for yourself. Do something. Like what? I don't know, but something more than this. Marcus gestured at the sad state of the apartment. You love them, right? Did he? He loved Clara. That was certain. But Amara, yeah, he loved her too. Had never stopped. Yes, he said. I love them. Then stop moping and figure out how to fix this. After Marcus left, Ethan sat alone in the dark. How did you fix something like this? How did you prove you weren't running when the person wouldn't even talk to you? Amara sat at her kitchen table, staring at her laptop. The articles were mostly gone. Old news. The internet had moved on to someone else's drama. But the damage lingered. 3 parents had pulled their kids from her classes. Mrs. Williams had suggested she take a few weeks off. Let things settle. Clara kept asking about Ethan. When is Dad coming back? I don't know, sweetie. Did I do something wrong? No, baby, of course not. Then why isn't he here? Amara didn't have an answer. The truth was, she missed him. Missed his presence in their home. Missed watching him with Clara. Missed the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't paying attention. But she'd been right to push him away, hadn't she? His world was too big, too public. Clara needed privacy, safety, normal. Mama! Clara appeared in the doorway clutching a book, the one Ethan had given her. What is it, baby? Can you read me this story? About families. Amara's throat tightened. Of course. They curled up on the couch together. Amara read about all different kinds of families. Big families, small families, families that lived together, families that lived apart but still loved each other. Is Dad still our family? Clara asked. Even though he's not here? Amara closed her eyes. Yes, sweetie. He's still your dad. Then why won't you let him visit? It's complicated. That's what grown-ups say when they don't want to explain. Out of the mouths of babes. You're right, Amara admitted. I'm scared, Clara. Scared that if we let him too close, he might leave again. Or that bad things will happen because he's famous and has lots of money. But he promised he'd stay. I know. Don't you believe him? Did she? That was the real question. I'm trying to, Amara whispered. Clara hugged her tight. I miss him, Mama. I know, baby, I know. That night, after Clara fell asleep, Amara sat alone. She picked up her phone, looked at all the missed calls and messages from Ethan. Her finger hovered over his name. Then she set the phone down. Not yet. She wasn't ready yet. But maybe soon. Maybe soon she'd find the courage to forgive. Days turned into a week, then 2. Ethan didn't call anymore. Didn't show up at the school. Gave Amara the space she'd demanded. But he didn't disappear either. Every morning a delivery arrived at Amara's door. Sometimes flowers, sometimes a children's book. Once a stuffed duck because Clara had mentioned she liked feeding the ducks. No notes, no messages demanding to be let back in. Just gifts that said, I'm thinking of you, I'm still here. Amara didn't acknowledge them, but she didn't send them back either. Clara kept the stuffed duck on her bed, named it Ethan Jr., because it reminds me of Dad, she explained. Amara's heart broke a little more each day. Marcus showed up at Ethan's penthouse unannounced one evening. You're doing it again, Marcus said, walking past him into the apartment. Doing what? Running away, just in a different form. I'm giving her space like she asked. No, you're hiding. Marcus turned to face him. You're sending gifts instead of fighting for your family. What am I supposed to do? She won't talk to me. Then make her listen. How? I don't know. But sitting here feeling sorry for yourself isn't the answer. Marcus's voice softened. You told me you'd changed, that you weren't the guy who runs anymore. Prove it. After Marcus left, Ethan stood at his window, looking out at the city. What did fighting look like when the person wouldn't let you near? His phone buzzed. A text from Mrs. Harper, the ballet patron he'd met that first night. Young man, I heard what happened. Amara is hurting. Clara is hurting. And I suspect you are too. The spring recital is in 2 weeks. Clara has a solo. Perhaps that would be a good time to show you mean what you say. MH. His heart jumped. He typed back, "Will Amara want me there? What Amara wants and what Amara needs are two different things. Show her you're not afraid of her anger, that you'll stay even when it's hard. Thank you, don't thank me, just show up." Ethan looked at the date. 2 weeks. He could do 2 weeks. He'd wait, be patient, and then he'd fight. Amara stood in the studio, watching Clara practice her solo. The piece was called Homecoming. Amara had choreographed it months ago, before Ethan came back, before everything changed. It was about a bird who flew away from home, got lost, and found her way back. Now watching Clara dance it, the meaning felt different, heavier. "That's beautiful, baby," Amara said when the music ended. Clara stopped, breathing hard. "Do you think Dad will come watch?" It was the 10th time she'd asked this week. "I don't know, sweetie. Can you invite him, please?" "Clara, please, Mama. I want him there." Amara's resolve cracked. "Okay, I'll think about it." Clara's face lit up. "Really? I said I'll think about it." But Clara was already bouncing with excitement. After class, Daphne pulled Amara aside. "You need to invite him," Daphne said. "I don't need to do anything. Clara wants her father there. That matters more than your pride." "This isn't about pride, isn't it?" Daphne crossed her arms. "You're punished him enough, Amara. He made a mistake 7 years ago. He's trying to fix it. By bringing chaos into our lives? That wasn't his fault. The press would have found out eventually. Maybe, but nothing." Daphne's voice turned gentle. "I've watched you these past 2 weeks. You're miserable. Clara's miserable. And I'm betting Ethan's miserable too. So maybe it's time to forgive him. Really forgive him. Not just for Clara, for you." Amara looked away. What if he leaves again? What if he doesn't? That night, Amara sat alone after Clara went to bed. She pulled out her phone, opened a new message to Ethan. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. What did she even say? "Sorry for pushing you away. Clara misses you. I miss you." She started typing, deleted it, started again. Finally she wrote, "Clara has her spring recital in 2 weeks. Saturday at 7 p.m. She'd like you to be there." She hit send before she could change her mind. 3 minutes later, her phone buzzed. "I'll be there. Thank you." She stared at the message, then typed, "Just for Clara, don't read anything else into it, understood?" She set the phone down, tried to ignore the flutter in her chest. The next 2 weeks crawled by. Ethan threw himself into preparing. He wanted everything perfect for Clara's recital. He had flowers arranged, roses for Amara, daisies for Clara, bought a new camera to record the performance, picked out a gift for afterward, but mostly he just counted down the days. Marcus noticed. "You're nervous. What if she's still angry? Then you deal with it. But at least you'll be there." "Yeah, I will." On Saturday morning, Ethan woke before dawn, couldn't sleep. He dressed carefully, dark suit, blue tie, Clara's favorite color. Hours stretched ahead before the performance. He went to the office, tried to work, gave up. Finally, at 6 o'clock, he drove to the theater. The Langston Ballet Theater looked just like it had that first night. Grand, beautiful, full of possibility. He sat in his car for 10 minutes, gathering courage. Then he walked inside. The lobby buzzed with parents and students. Girls in costumes rushed past. Someone called out instructions about stage positions. Ethan found a seat in the middle of the theater. Not too close, not too far back, where he could see everything. People filed in around him, the theater filled with chatter and excitement. Then the lights dimmed. His heart pounded. The curtain rose. The performance was beautiful. Young dancers moved across the stage with grace and joy. Each piece told a story. Each child gave their all. Ethan watched it all, but his mind was elsewhere, waiting for Clara. Finally, the program reached the second to last number. "And now," a voice announced, "Clara Lewis will perform Homecoming, choreographed by Amara Lewis." The audience applauded. Clara walked onto the stage alone. She wore a white costume with silver details that caught the lights. Her hair was pulled back in a bun. She looked so grown up, so beautiful. The music began. Soft piano notes filled the theater. Clara started to dance. It was different from anything Ethan had seen before. More emotional, more raw. She moved like she was telling her own story. A child searching for something, for someone. His throat tightened. The music built. Clara's movements grew more urgent, reaching, yearning. Then the music shifted, became hopeful. And Clara's dance changed. Her movements softened. She smiled. The bird had found her way home. Clara finished in the center of the stage, arms raised toward the lights, face glowing with joy. The audience erupted in applause. Ethan stood without thinking, clapped so hard his hands stung. Clara bowed, searched the audience, found him. Her smile grew even brighter. She waved. He waved back, tears streaming down his face. The curtain closed for the final intermission. Ethan sat down, shaking. She was incredible. His daughter was incredible. The final piece began, a group number with all the students. Clara danced in the back row, still smiling. When the performance ended, the audience gave a standing ovation. The dancers took their bows. Teachers came out to acknowledge the crowd. Amara appeared on stage, looking elegant in a simple black dress. Ethan's breath caught. She looked beautiful, tired maybe, but beautiful. She thanked the audience, the students, the other teachers. Her voice was steady, professional. Then she looked right at him. For just a moment, their eyes met across the theater. She didn't smile, didn't wave, but she didn't look away either. The curtain closed. People began filing out, heading to the reception in the lobby. Ethan stood. His legs felt weak. He made his way against the crowd, toward the backstage area. A security guard stopped him. "Sorry, sir. Performers and family only. I'm Clara Lewis's father." The guard checked his list, nodded. "Go ahead." Backstage was chaos. Students everywhere, parents taking photos, teachers giving congratulations. Ethan searched the crowd. Then he saw her. Clara stood with Amara, still in her costume, holding a bouquet of flowers. He walked toward them. Clara saw him first. "Dad!" She ran to him. He caught her, lifting her up. "You were perfect," he said. "So perfect. Did you like it? Did you really like it?" "I loved it. You're amazing." She hugged him tight. "I'm so glad you came. I wouldn't have missed it for anything." He set her down, looked at Amara. She stood a few feet away watching them. "Hi," he said. "Hi." Awkward silence. Clara looked between them. "Mama, didn't Dad do a good job watching?" "He did very well," Amara said softly. "Can he come to the reception?" "Clara, sweetheart. Please. Everyone else's families are together." Amara's expression cracked, just for a moment. "Okay," she said. "He can come." The reception was held in the theater lobby. Tables of cookies and punch. Parents mingling. Students showing off their costumes. Ethan stayed close to Clara, feeling out of place. Amara stood across the room talking to Mrs. Harper and other parents. She kept glancing at him. He kept glancing back. Finally, Mrs. Harper said something to Amara and walked over to Ethan. "Mr. Ward, good to see you." "Mrs. Harper, thank you for the advice." She smiled knowingly. "I'm a meddling old woman, but sometimes meddling is necessary." She patted his arm and walked away. Clara tugged his sleeve. "Dad, come meet my friends." She dragged him over to a group of young dancers. Introduced him proudly. "This is my dad. He's really important and rich, but he's also really nice." The other girls giggled, asked him questions. He answered patiently, making them laugh. Across the room, Amara watched. Daphne appeared beside her. "He's good with them." "Yeah, you should talk to him. I don't know what to say. Start with, 'Thank you for coming.' See where it goes." Amara took a breath, crossed the room. Ethan saw her approaching. His whole body tensed. "Clara," Amara said, "why don't you go get some cookies with Maya?" "But Mama, go on. I need to talk to your dad." Clara looked between them, then nodded and ran off. Ethan and Amara stood alone in the crowded room. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Thank you for inviting me. Clara wanted you here. And you." She looked at him. Really looked. "I wanted you here too." His heart jumped. "Amara, wait. Let me say this." She took a breath. "I've been angry at you for 2 weeks. Angry and scared and hurt. I know, I'm sorry. But watching you tonight, seeing you with Clara's, I realized something." "What? You're not leaving, are you?" "No, never. Even though I pushed you away. Even though I made it hard. Especially then." He took a step closer. "I meant what I said, Amara. I'm not that person anymore. The one who runs when things get difficult. How do I know that? Because I'm still here. After the press. After you told me to leave. After 2 weeks of silence. I'm still here." Tears filled her eyes. "I missed you. I missed you too, so much. I don't know if I can trust you yet. Not completely. That's okay. I'll wait. What if it takes a long time? Then it takes a long time." He reached for her hand, slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Their fingers intertwined. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too. What if we mess this up? What if Clara gets hurt? Then we'll fix it. Together. Because we're a family now, Amara. Messy and complicated and imperfect, but family. She looked at their joined hands. Clara called us that. A family. Smart kid. She gets it from me. He laughed. Really laughed. Yeah, she does. Amara smiled through her tears. Ethan. Yeah? I never stopped loving you. Even when I was angry. Even when I wanted to. I couldn't. His breath caught. I never stopped loving you either. So what do we do now? We start over. For real this time. No running. No hiding. Just us? Just us. She stepped closer. He wrapped his arms around her. And there in the middle of the crowded lobby they held each other. Not kissing. Not yet. Just holding on. Finding their way back. Mama! Dad! Clara's voice broke them apart. She ran over, Maya trailing behind. Are you guys okay? You're hugging. We're better than okay, baby, Amara said, wiping her eyes. Clara looked between them. Understanding dawned on her face. Are we a family again? Ethan knelt down. We're a family, Clara. We've always been a family, even when we were apart. But now you're together. He looked at Amara. She nodded. Yeah, sweetheart. Now we're together. Clara threw herself at both of them. They caught her, laughing. Around them, people watched and smiled. Mrs. Harper dabbed her eyes with a handkerchief. Daphne gave Amara a thumbs up. This was their moment. Their new beginning. Not perfect, not without scars, but real and whole. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the windows of Amara's apartment. Ethan stood in the kitchen making pancakes. Clara sat at the table in her pajamas, coloring. Dad, you're burning them, Clara said. Am not. Are too. Mama, tell him. Amara walked in, wearing one of Ethan's old shirts. Her hair was messy. She looked happy. They're definitely burning, she said. Ethan flipped a blackened pancake onto a plate. I'll get better with practice. You'd better. If you're going to be here every morning. He looked at her. Is that an invitation? Maybe. She smiled. We should talk about it. About what this looks like going forward. Okay. After breakfast, Clara went to play in her room. Ethan and Amara sat on the couch with coffee. I want to do this right, Amara said. Take things slow for Clara. I agree. You can't just move in tomorrow. I know. But maybe a few nights a week, build up to more. Whatever you're comfortable with. She leaned against him. I'm still scared sometimes. Me too. But I'm also happy. Really happy. So am I. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the morning light paint the room gold. Ethan? Yeah? Thank you for coming back. For staying. For fighting for us. He kissed the top of her head. Always. I'll always fight for us. 6 weeks later, the ballet school held its annual fundraiser. The event was bigger this year. More attendees, more donations. Ethan stood beside Amara as Mrs. Harper gave a speech. And finally, Mrs. Harper said, we're pleased to announce a new scholarship fund. The Clara Lewis Arts Scholarship will provide full tuition for deserving students who demonstrate both talent and dedication. Applause filled the room. Clara tugged Ethan's sleeve. That's my name. It sure is, sweetheart. Did you do that, Dad? He glanced at Amara. She smiled. How your dad and I did it together, Amara said. So kids like you can always dance no matter what. Clara beamed. The event continued. Students performed. Parents donated. Teachers mingled. Ethan found himself talking to other parents, no longer the outsider, but part of the community. Marcus showed up, curious to finally meet Clara. So you're the famous Clara, Marcus said. And your Uncle Marcus. She'd heard Ethan talk about him. Uncle Marcus. I like that. They talked for a few minutes. Then Clara ran off to play with her friends. You did good, Marcus told Ethan. Really good. Thanks. You're happy. Yeah, I am. Different from before. Better. Ethan looked across the room at Amara. She was laughing with Daphne, relaxed and joyful. Yeah, much better. As the evening wound down, the three of them walked out together, Clara between them, holding both their hands. The city sparkled around them. Streetlights reflected off windows. People moved through their Saturday evening routines. Ice cream? Clara suggested hopefully. It's 8 o'clock, Amara said. Please? Amara looked at Ethan. He shrugged. Why not? Amara said. Special occasion. Yes, Clara pumped her fist. They walked to the ice cream shop 2 blocks away. Clara got strawberry. Amara got mint chocolate chip. Ethan got vanilla. They sat on a bench in the small park nearby, eating their cones in the warm evening air. This is perfect, Clara said. Just us. Just us, Ethan agreed. Amara leaned against his shoulder. You know what? She's right. This is perfect. Clara finished her cone. Can we come here every week, all together? We can try, Amara said. And Dad will be there? I'll be there, Ethan promised. Every week, every day you want me. Even when you're busy with work, even then, you and your mom come first, always. Clara smiled. Good, because I like having a dad, and I like being your dad. They sat there as the sky darkened to deep blue. Other families walked past. Dogs barked in the distance, the city hummed with life. Ethan thought about 7 years ago, how lost he'd been, how afraid. If someone had told him then that he'd end up here, with a daughter, with Amara, with a real family, he wouldn't have believed it. But here he was, not running, not hiding, just present, just home. What are you thinking about? Amara asked softly. How lucky I am. We're the lucky ones. That you came back. No, I'm lucky you let me. Clara yawned. I'm sleepy. Come on, little bird. Amara stood. Let's get you home. Ethan lifted Clara onto his shoulders. She wrapped her arms around his head, already half asleep. They walked through the quiet streets, past shops closing for the night, past other families heading home. At Amara's building, they climbed the stairs together. Inside, Ethan put Clara to bed while Amara made tea. He read her a story, kissed her goodnight. Love you, Dad, she mumbled, already drifting off. Love you too, sweetheart. He stood in the doorway for a moment, watching her sleep. His daughter, his miracle. In the living room, Amara waited with 2 cups of tea. They sat close on the couch, her head on his shoulder. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For being patient, for not giving up on us. Thank you for giving me another chance. We gave each other another chance. She was right. This wasn't just his redemption story. It was theirs. Together. I love you, he said. I should have said it sooner, should have said it 7 years ago, but I'm saying it now. I love you, Amara. She lifted her head to look at him. Tears shone in her eyes. Happy tears. I love you too. He kissed her then, soft and gentle. A promise, a beginning. When they pulled apart, she smiled. Stay tonight? Are you sure? I'm sure. Clara wants you here. I want you here. Then I'll stay. They sat together in the quiet apartment. The city lights twinkled outside. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new moments to navigate, but they'd face them together, as a family. Not perfect, not without their scars and fears, but whole, finally whole. Ethan looked around the small apartment, at the photos on the walls, the cozy furniture, the life Amara had built. This was worth more than all his millions, all his success, all his grand plans. This was home, and he was never leaving again. 3 months later, Clara's school held a father-daughter dance. Ethan picked her up wearing a suit. She wore a fancy dress Amara had made. You look beautiful, sweetheart. You look handsome, Dad. At the school gym, decorated with streamers and balloons, they danced to silly pop songs. Clara stood on his feet laughing as he spun her around. This is the best night ever, she said. For me too. Really? Better than your fancy business parties. 1,000,000 times better. She hugged him tight. I'm glad you're my dad. I'm glad I'm your dad too. They danced until Clara's feet hurt, ate cake, took silly photos. On the drive home, Clara fell asleep in the back seat. Ethan carried her upstairs. Amara met them at the door, smiling. How was it? Perfect. He laid Clara in bed, still in her dress. They could change her in the morning. Back in the living room, Amara curled against him. She talks about you all the time, Amara said, at school, to her friends. My dad this, my dad that. Yeah? Yeah, you're her hero. She's mine too. They sat in comfortable silence. Ethan, move in with us. He pulled back to look at her. What? Move in, officially. Clara keeps asking why you have another house, and honestly, I'm tired of you leaving at night. Are you sure? I'm sure. We're building a life together. Let's really build it. He kissed her, long and deep. Yes, absolutely yes. Good. Because Clara and I already cleaned out the closet for you. He laughed. You were that confident? I was hopeful. Hope's a good thing, the best thing, and it was. Hope had brought him back. Hope had healed them. Hope had given them this second chance. Outside, the city never slept, but inside this small apartment, everything was peaceful. A family, together at last. Not because it was easy, but because they chose it. Every day, every moment. Love wasn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. It was about showing up, staying, fighting when things got hard. It was about forgiveness and second chances. It was about this, these quiet moments, this ordinary magic. Ethan held Amara close and knew with absolute certainty he was home, and he was never leaving again.